Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be walking through the 1.21.70 new update into Minecraft Bedrock. So, this update just got released about a few days ago, and I've been working on updating my add-on and all the other game mechanics over to this new update. And today, we're just going to be walking through what this update entails for scripters and other, add-on players, and how crazy this update has been. So, first off, let's head to the changelogs. So, here's the changelogs for the new update. It's kind of a lot to get through. So, basically, I'm not going to be walking through all this because you've probably seen it in like trailers. I'm going to be going over mostly the technical side of things because that's what's pretty interesting. But they've added bush blocks. They've added a lot of cool new blocks, ambient sounds, really cool stuff here. Pig variants, cow variants, sheep variants, and chicken variants. They added a lot of cool stuff. I really like that. They added updated trades. We know we're going through this quickly. There's a lot of cool stuff. But here is when we get to the technical updates. So as you can see, we're only halfway through, and the rest of it is all technical updates, which is pretty insane. So first off, we see unhandled rejected scripting promises and scripting now include call stacks when logged. Now, if you're not running a server, you probably don't think of how important this is, but this is so important when catching bugs for your game because you can see the logging output, and usually if it's a await promise error, then you won't be able to see where the error occurred. It's super problematic, and we've been actually working with Dark Navi to get that fixed, and we finally see it in the change logs now. So boom, you can now get your call stacks back when an error occurs inside Minecraft, which is super, super cool. So basically, they've added some new client biome components, which is pretty interesting. Nothing really too crazy about that. But also 1.80, which we're not going to look at. A lot of cool stuff coming with commands. Dedicated server. There's actually a new authorization player position stuff. I actually might have to disable that stuff. It's not good. They never do it well. I don't know why. Okay, so we're gonna scroll all the way down to the. Oh, actually, these are pretty cool. They added new sounds, but I think I went over that in the last update. Okay, here's the experimental technical updates, and this stuff is crazy. So I'm actually gonna make a whole video for this itself, and I've actually been working with this right now. So they've added a new module called Minecraft Diagnostics, which uses Sentry. So it's actually pretty cool. Sentry is this uh kind of issue tracking thing. So I'm using it for Bedrock right now, which I'll walk through in a separate video. But as you can see, it's tracking every single bug that is occurring in my add-on. And it's so good. Like, look at all this. Value is not read. Like, usually I have loggings in my Discord. I can see that. But now it just automatically sends it straight here. And what's cool is this is only for dedicated servers, but it might actually come for non-dedicated servers in the future, which is going to be pretty interesting because you could send out your pack and then you can see full diagnostic sent straight back into your own dashboard, which would be super, super cool. But anyways, Minecraft server got a lot of new updates. Big things, get difficulty and set difficulty, which are super cool. So obviously we can now get and set the difficulties of the world, which is super important for, like, let's say my Pokemon add-on. I want to change how things attack each other or spawning. I can do this now with get difficulty, which is gonna be super, super cool. A lot of okay, so they created a lot of things read only, and that's what we're gonna be going over a lot in this video because a lot of things have been rechanged with privileges, which is very confusing. I know. I've been able to fix all of them, so I'll show you guys how to do that in this video. But a lot of things are now read only, which really sucks because you can't really edit things anymore how you used to be able to. For example, the scale component and next update, the skin ID component is now read only, so you can't edit them in scripting, which is super sad. I don't know why they went with these changes, but there's no reason we've seen so far. Okay, so this is a big one. Native constructors now require certain privileges. Now, so what does that mean? Basically, here, I'll show you. Okay, so this is my mine manager code for my add-on. So basically, I'll zoom in a bit for you all so you can get to see a bit better. But the issue is this thing right here. So if I actually put this outside where it used to be, I had to do some reconfiguration for it to fix. But I used to have this in the main, you know, the main stack. It would be in the original main stack of the entire add-on. But what Minecraft has changed is you can no longer call native constructors at early execution. So that's kind of how they describe it. They call it early execution. So this is not valid anymore. We cannot run this native constructor block volume, which is kind of weird. I feel like this is a super thing that should be allowed. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, but basically you can't do this anymore. So you're going to have to put these inside their own event classes. But if it matters how your code's set up, because most of your code should be set up with early execution, and that kind of complicates a lot of things. So let me show you another one. Okay, so this is my custom furniture for Bedrock. And basically they redefined how the block component registry works. It's interesting. I mean, it's mostly the exact same, but basically you see there's this new event before event startup. This used to be before world initialize. World initialize, I guess, is the same thing as startup, but there's a different execution process, which I'll show in a screenshot here. But basically, there is a new way in how execution of events take place. And this is the version 2.0.0 for the scripting API. Now you have to register everything in startup. That means when the server initially starts up, you're going to register all these custom block components. So then Minecraft can deal with those block components when it's registering the blocks. Also, you cannot run anything except for, if we switch back over to the change logs, you can see there's only a few things that are allowed in early execution. That's the clear job, clear run, run interval, run job, run timeout, and wait ticks. And also the block component registries can be called. Which is crazy because you're going to have to run your thing on a separate tick, meaning when Minecraft goes through your code, it's going to try to run everything it can. But the first tick doesn't happen till like a long time after it originally runs everything. So you have to wait for that first tick to be able to do anything. And what they've done is created a new function for us so we don't have to do that. Basically, world.afterEvents.worldLoad is a new event. As soon as the world loads, then you can run whatever you want in here. And basically, I don't have to worry about that much from Addon because almost everything comes off of players joining, and then everything, starts. Players join, everything starts. Players use an item, everything starts. So I didn't have to worry about too much, but I know a lot of people have issues with this. So if you want a whole video on how to merge your code over, I will do that. Just leave in the comments if you want me to. Okay. Now back up to what else was going on. So we can see those, big thing with constructors. They've also depreciated the item used on before and item used on after. Not a big deal. Just change those over. It's pretty easy. They've actually added block destruction particles, which is super cool. So you can now change what a destruction looks like for a block. I haven't messed around with that yet, but it's actually really cool. And this is what I was talking about earlier, the entity scale component. Super bad for us. I don't know why they've done this. It's kind of sad. I'm trying to figure out a workaround right now, but a lot of my scaling of stuff in the add-on for like the fossil machine and stuff all work off the entity scale components. That's super sad changes. Okay. Now, server.net also had some fixes. So if you were ever in the Bedrock scripting API Discord, I posted a bug actually in there. Let me see if I can go over to it. So I posted a bug with the transit request error. And this has been a problem for a while. And it actually affects this. It calls a status code here, which is a big issue. And I reported to Dark Navi almost last year. Oh my gosh. So it's been an error for a while, like a really long time. and they finally have fixed the issue, and they've created new error forms. So they created new errors that will be sent when you're running server net. So that's very good for diagnostics when stuff happens like that. So very important. Another huge thing. Server UI has been updated and it's crazy. So I'm actually going to walk you through that in the code. Okay, so this is my form API wrapper, and it actually I haven't even pushed the changes yet. It's that new. I've just been redoing it recently for a lot of cool things, and basically I've redone the entire form wrapper, and I'll probably post it on GitHub if you guys want it. But it's so cool, the new forms. Basically the next update's even going to be even better because we get tooltips, but I'll walk you that later. But what we've got in this update is we've got a new label, divider, and headers, which looks so good. And let me actually show you that. So here's one of my trainers forms, and I've just been working on messing around with these stuff. But as you can see, here's the chat messages. It says that is the header. So you can now create headers with your forms. You can also see below it, there is a label, which I've added. And there's also a divider above the header. So those brand new things have came in, and you can now add those to your forms to make it look super, super good. And it's pretty good. I really liked it. I really liked it. And the tooltips are also going to be cool when that comes out. So I'm going to have to redo this form system again. But the form system currently, I've redone it all. It looks super good. And basically what my form system is, it allows you to create callbacks on top of forms. So you can see this form callback. So let's say you wanted to create a message form, and then you want to set button 1, and then so when someone clicks this, you can have your own callback to it. But Minecraft forms are kind of poop how how they work with the callback system, so I created my own wrapper for it, and it's super clean. So if you guys want that, I'll leave it in the comments. Or leave it in the comments if you want that, and I'll post it on GitHub. But let's go back to Chrome. Okay, so that is a big update. It's super cool, and I might make a whole video on that too. But here's the big thing with Server 2.0 beta, which I've been talking about. The early execution, which is very detrimental to your code, I know. Yep, so they've added the startup event, and they've also renamed the world initialize to the world load, which is like I said. They've also removed the run command async, which they've added it, they've removed it, and they've added it back and removed it finally again so many different times. So I don't know if they're going to add it back again later. But they've removed the ability to run command async. Apparently it was never actually running asynchronously. All right. I don't know why you created it if it wouldn't work. But anyways, yeah, so just change your code over to run command. It's not a big deal. Okay. They've also fixed a lot of errors when you're calling stuff and when they're invalid, which is very cool because that caused like crashes in the code, which is very annoying. They also applyKnockback got a big fix. So I'm actually going to show you what that looks like. Okay. So here is the new version of the applyKnockback. Okay, so this runs in my code when you hit an entity with the GUI book. It'll basically call the applyKnockback, and it will knock you back a few distance. But basically what this does, if they've redone it to it's now a horizontal force with the XZ direction and a vertical strength. So basically what you have to do is before it looks something like, here actually I can show you if I run over this. You can see before it looked like this. So it had the first parameter, the second parameter, and then it had the the horizontal strength, and then had the vertical strength. And all you have to do is just wrap it in some colons, multiply it by the horizontal strength, and then you can still use the vertical strength there. So not too big of a change, but pretty decent. Okay. Now, they've also done a lot of things with get name, some error components, system wait ticks. They've created, I don't know why they haven't done that already. It's kind of weird. Okay. Now, this registration builder is something I haven't been able to look into yet. It seems interesting. I don't even know what the registration is, so I might have to look into that. But you can register, I guess, event spawning. I don't know. I haven't really looked at that. Big thing, though, is lore length has been improved. So you can now have an increased number of lore array objects, which is really cool. Okay. this stuff is weird. The set property override. So I haven't been able to mess around with this yet. I don't even know what a use case for this would be. But you can now override entity properties, which is kind of crazy. I don't know why I would use this. Yeah, so you can basically just override properties on entities, which means you can override its position. You can override any property. Let's see here, I'll show you the list. So you see all these properties here. That's basically on the docs. You can just override this stuff. I mean, some of this is read only, so you can't. Actually, I think it's all read only. Never mind. You can override all of these, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why they've did it like this. It's kind of weird. Never really thought of that. But I guess you could override like is sprinting, is swimming. I wonder if that actually would work. Oh, maybe I should try that. But they've also done some the block colors. I guess just making more map colors more synced. And basically, that's kind of much it for this update. So that was a 16 minutes in. That was a pretty crazy video. But basically, there's a lot of things that happen in this update. And if you guys want me to go more in depth on what and how you can change your add-on for this update, I will gladly do it. But basically, that's going to be it for this video. If you did like these kind of update showcase videos, which I like doing occasionally, make sure to leave in the comments. And thank you all again for 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I actually just got the plaque in the mail, so I'm going to post a picture of that soon. But thank you guys so much, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.